got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. Woo! Oh, it's good to sing out and be together. And today it's coming together in love. Love is powerful. And as we are in the month of love, hence all the pink, it's a great force in our lives. And I want you to consider a possibility of stepping into a commitment to get to know others. Jody Stauffer at the last potluck said, we used to do these family dinner thing where we got together and it brought us close together in connection and community. And I had been praying, what are we going to do for Lent? And so I grabbed a hold of the idea, and so we're going to have these Lenten supper clubs. But we'll talk some more about that later. This is a journey. And from this Dallas boy, Dr. Dean Ornish, great speaker, wrote wonderful books, has had his impact on our grand community. Here he says, the need for connection and community is primal, as fundamental as the need for air, water, and food. Now, when I first read this, and I'm like working on this talk, I thought, come on. Could it really be that important? Yes, it is. Because what we know is as long as human beings have been walking on the planet or crawling or whatever we do, the first tricycle, we have needed to find a tribe. We've needed to find connection. It's where we grow. It's where we feel nurtured. It's where we can support others. It's where we learn. And they've done some studies where babies were isolated from all touch, and they didn't survive. A very cruel scientific exercise. But our need for connectivity, for intimacy, because intimacy is into me, see, which means we listen and we're heard. It's so important to our survival, just as important as the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food that we eat. And in this foundation, which is so close to what we identify, we're people of unity. We know that in unity, we are so much more than we are alone. And this spiritual truth extends in our living truth by learning the tools that allow us to be with others. Self-love, a whole lot of forgiveness, and extending our heart. Now, we love turning to the wonderful book, the Bible. The Bible's full of great lessons, and this particular spiritual truth I just love. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. Finally, all of you have unity of spirit, sympathy, and love for one another, a tender heart, and a humble mind. When we finally come home to the truth of our divine nature, it awakens this presence. It awakens that Christ consciousness, that one that is unified with Spirit in us and others. And from that space, there is tenderness. Because when we come into full presence with our divine nature, we are fully present, which means our heart is open to whatever the heart's yearning. Maybe it's time for our heart to accept what is. Maybe it's necessary for a tender heart to open a little more to accepting ourselves. Maybe it's that tender heart that opens us to listen, where before we were closed off because they're wrong. A tender heart means we're facing life with courage, because it's the challenging work of love. It's the challenging work of sticking with it even though. Because this journey of awakening is a road that you must navigate through this now moment. But when we get to the finally, we're in the unity of spirit and sympathy with a tender heart and humbleness, now we begin. And that's coming together in love. Reverend Sue Sicking, I wish I met her. She's so wise. She's a very powerful unity minister. Wrote some great books. Love is the power that can banish hospitals, old age, loneliness, unhappiness, and want. It is the power that can heal the human body, set us free from all bondage. But first, we must be set free to work through us. Now, we know that love is powerful, because one of the ways we affirm and address God is love. God is love. Can love really banish hospitals? We have to step in to look at this spiritually. It's not eradicating the hospitals. It's eradicating how we operate in hospitals. Operate if you're a surgeon. Now, on August 26, 1998, Owen went into a mini-mart, and a sport utility vehicle ran through the brick wall and ran over him inside the mini-mart. Now, there were 5 doctors who said he wouldn't live. And after 3 weeks in intensive care, with a shattered pelvis and a shattered left leg and 49 units of blood, there was a trauma nurse that every single night that Owen was in ICU, she came in and she rubbed lotion on Owen's back. Now, that's not hospital behavior. That's love. And she'd talk with him. And she would visit with him and honored him, because somehow Owen's journey of coming into the emergency room awakened something in her. Now, that banished the hospital and brought people together to love and care. Now, there were 5 doctors who also said Owen would never walk ever again. Clearly, doctors aren't always right. In old age, what is old age? Old age is when we accept there's nothing left for us. Being elderly, being wise, having gifts to share from our experience is not old age. It's being fully alive in our later years. We're not lonely if we choose to spend some time alone, or in our studio, or with our creative exercises. But loneliness, when we don't know who we can call, when we don't know where we can connect with others, is abolished when there's love. But the love has to start by loving ourselves and extending that love with others. Love is a great power, but with every power tool, you have to be willing to use it. We've got plenty of tools that we never use in the toolbox or the tool drawer in the kitchen. We can use love every single day. And it's by using that love that we have the deepest connection, the deepest realization, and opening to truths that we didn't even know were available to us. It's powerful. Reverend Jim Rosemurgy, I have such respect for this man. I did meet him once. He's a great minister. He was the head of Unity Institute for many years, and his books are wonderful. He says, to love another is not to find him in agreement with you. It is not even to find the sacred spirit within him. It is to feel the heartbeat of God within you and to know that that heart's beat with the same rhythm. We are not here to find the divine in others. We need to find it in ourselves. We need to know it in ourselves. We need to step into that knowing, and then when we're facing others, to see that that same beat of the divine is in them as well. And that's just the beginning. That's just a start. And that opens us to the possibility to sit down with another and listen and be heard. I love that in Unity we teach what Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, the co-founders of Unity, taught over and over again, that each of us is a true student, and each of us must come to our own understanding. But to have our own understanding, we need to spend time with ourselves. And if you're having an argument with yourself, chances are it's time to forgive yourself. And it's from that forgiving ourselves and loving ourselves that we can sit with anyone and commune and share and realize. We might even learn something new. And so this idea for Lent is starting Wednesday, February 22nd with Ash Wednesday. And it'll go for 40 days. It gets us to Easter. And during that time, we're inviting you to consider the possibility of joining a Lenten supper club, which is a commitment that once a week, for 4 weeks, you have dinner with the same group of people. And in that is a time to be seen, to be heard. Maybe get to know someone you've never met before. Or get to know people you do know better. It's small group ministries at its best. It's honoring the possibility that when we come together in love, we have connection. I love when the train comes. It's always an acknowledgement that something profound is happening. So let's ride the train and honor that we have available to us the possibility of practicing coming together in love by joining with others for a Lenten supper club once a week for the next 4 weeks. Now, in your bulletin, there's a form to fill out with your availability. If you don't have the bulletin, on the pew just outside are some blank forms. There's also a basket there to put your filled out form in. And if you don't want to do it now because you don't jump into these things lightly, you want to consider them and pray about them and honor your process, you can go to our website, www.unitynewbraunfels.org, and right on the home page, if you scroll down, it's right there. There's a link. You can go right to it and fill it out that way. You and your groups just create little pods. We'll decide how you're going to meet, whether you're going to get together in potluck or different people host or call out and have it delivered, however you want to do it. But the blessing of it is getting to know others better. And we also have the Lenten booklet from Unity, which is a wonderful gift. It's 40 days of letting go. And in it, you might discuss the readings in your Lenten Supper Club. So consider that and value the process of coming together in love. Thank you.